Well, here we are, and here's the motor for our Goofy cart. And it's been sitting out here for quite a while, and the paint is, I'm sure, all cured. The next thing to do now is to start putting it back together. And before we can put it back together, one of the things we got to do is we got to lap these valves in. And I just went out and bought myself a valve lapping tube. The last time I did this, I made up my own thing. Oh, come on now. Don't tell me this isn't going to want to stick to here. There we go. It ain't sticking real good, that's for sure. If I get it on there, it should stick. I'll have to get my valve grinding compound out here. And you probably all know how to lap valves, don't you? So here's one of the things you have to have for lapping them. This is valve grinding compound. You can tell that's an old tube, huh? It's been around for a while. Kind of like me, been around for a while. And I haven't used it in a long time. I wonder if I'll be able to even get it open. Let me see if I got another tube down in here. Maybe one that's not quite so old. Actually, I have several of them in here. Okay, here's another one. It's an oldie too. Maybe it'll open though. Yeah, yep, there it is. Now, what I gotta do is it's gritty stuff. I should squirt a little bit out because it's got a lot of liquid separated a lot. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this on my finger. I don't know if this is the right way to do it or not. This is the way I have always done it. And squirt a little bit around on the valve face. I've already cleaned the valves on a wire brush and get them all nice and clean. There. Can you see that? Yeah, nice and clean. Now we just stick it down here in the hole that it goes in. And if I can do this and keep the valve lapping compound thing on there. Doesn't like to stick very well. You're supposed to be able to, of course it would help if I took my brace off probably. My arthritis has been kicking up. You guys are too young to understand about arthritis. Getting it stuck on my valve. And you just basically twist it around and keep going around with it. It would help if it's stuck on the valve better. But anyway. The idea is, let me wipe this off, and it should have a nice, smooth surface. Can you see that? all the way around. It shows where it's seating, and it is seating all the way around. I gotta finish cleaning it off, obviously, but it's seating all the way around on the valve seat. And if I wipe my valve seat off, it should be showing the same kind of a thing. Obviously, we want to get all this grip back out of here. Don't want to leave it in there. And get right down in there. And you can see how it has seated. You can see the smooth area all the way around where the valve has seated on the valve seat. That's why it's called a valve seat, because it seats there and it seals it off. So then we're going to do the same thing for our intake valve. That was the exhaust valve. And notice it has an X on it, so you know it's exhaust. And they can't be mixed up anyway, because the intake valve is considerably larger than the exhaust valve. And so we'll take this out. And that's before. It looks like there might have been a little bit of area there wasn't quite catching, but we'll show you after we lap it in. And you can see the edge that's cleaned all the way around. Except for right there, I didn't wipe it off well enough. See a little spot there, that don't look right. Maybe you need to lap that in just a little bit more right there. I don't want it leaking. And there's our valve all lapped in. It shows that it's lapping in well. That's a good thing. So the next thing for us to do now is to we're going to install our valves and valve springs, and I'm going to hone the cylinders. The cylinders aren't in bad shape, but I'm just going to hone them, give them a little bit of a crosshatch. Okay, we're just going to hone the cylinder out a little bit, just to knock the glaze off. And I've already sprayed some oil in there. Little PV blasters are all I use. You just need something light. No ridge on the top of the cylinder. Just a light run up and down the cylinder just to cut the glaze. Give it a little wipe out here. Wipe out. You guys are too young to remember that. Instrumental for back in the 60s, I think it was, by a group called the Ventures. It's like maybe I need to go down in a little bit further. Let's give a little squirt in there. And these engines, this engine wasn't labeled specifically as having a cast iron sleeve in it, but it does have a sleeve in it. I know the motor that I have for the Arian's Emperor, I believe it does have a sleeve. I believe it does say it has a sleeve. That's what I meant to say. Let me zoom you down here. I'm going to lower you down a little bit so I can see what you're seeing. Shaky cam work going on here. Okay, now I'm going to show you why I say this has a sleeve. It also has inserts for the valve seats, and the valve guides are inserts. Now you see the different color there, right around the edge? See this different color right in here? That's because this has a sleeve in it. And they must insert the sleeve and then cast around it, because this coloring only goes up to about here, and then the aluminum actually goes over it. And then the insert for the valves actually covers over the valves, goes beyond the valve seats. It's like an oval piece here that takes care of the valve inserts. Yep. So that's a good thing. That make the engine last longer, you know. If it was just aluminum, you wouldn't be able to see. But you could see a little bit of a crosshatch going on in there now from going up and down with the honing stone. There's just a little tiny hint of a ridge up there, but not enough to worry about. And I didn't really have to hone it out at all because it was running fine when we took it apart. But I figured I'd do just a little bit of cleanup on it, so it'll be that much better when we get it back together. So I'm going to install the valve springs and the lifters. Actually, I'll install the valve springs, and then I'll have to flip the motor over to put the lifters in to hold them up in there while I put the camshaft back in and then the crank. And I will wait to put the piston in till after I get the crank in place. So I'll bring you along for those. Well, this is all I'm doing today. I know I haven't spent much time messing with this today, but every little bit helps. Thanks for watching, for commenting, and for subscribing. We're moving ahead, and we'll keep you updated as we go. Bye for now.